Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to discuss Die in a Gunfight. If I'm not mistaken, this is Alexandra Daddario's newest movie. This was released a little while ago. It stars her and I believe Diego Boneta is in this, and Billy Crudup, I think, is in this as well, if memory serves. And essentially what this is it's a modern telling of Romeo and Juliet. Now, as much as I love Alexandra Daddario, and I did love her in this, she was, again, criminally underused. She was just sort of the girlfriend. She was troubled, and the animated backstory for her is that she got in a ton of trouble. She was a handful. But whenever you see Alexandra Daddario in the film, she's just sort of polite and sort of docile. Like she doesn't scream, she doesn't yell. She doesn't seem to have any fire inside of her. She just seems like a really nice person who's sort of in like a hopeless situation with her incredibly rich parents who she lives at home with after being kicked out of every boarding school that they put her in, and yada, yada, yada. But the character that they have Alexandra Daddario portraying on screen is not the character that we were led to believe that she was from the animated background story. And with Diego Boneta's character, he plays Romeo, essentially, and they've always been in love, and yet they fell out after she wrote him a bunch of letters when she was away at some boarding school, and he never bothered to write back to her. We do, of course, later find out that he never got the letters because his family hates her family, of course, and her family hates his family. And whereas I liked this movie, and I believe Diego Boneta he was always getting in trouble, I don't know. There was something about this movie that it just wasn't wild enough, I guess. For him being like the total juvenile delinquent now into his mid to late 20s delinquent sort of criminal, he was always fighting people, and the movie is relatively action-packed, and I did like that aspect of it, but it just wasn't wild enough. The chaos, it wasn't... on one hand, with the animated backstories, you kind of get like that they're going for more of like a natural-born killers vibe. But then with the rest of the movie, it couldn't be further from anything like that. And I liked the fighting, I liked the action, I liked the attitude, I liked the script. Some of the lines were really funny. But it's like I've seen it all before. And the only thing that really made me stay was Alexandra Daddario. And she, of course, was phenomenal in it, like she is in everything, but she wasn't in it enough. And when she was in it, like I said, she was just really cute and sort of like, she wasn't this like badass Juliet. And it ends with a massive shootout in a church where they're going to get married. And of course the moms from both families start to play along. It's the men who are the problem. They absolutely hate each other, but the wives don't really hate each other, so they're there. And then the bodyguard, hitman, assassin guy who was originally tasked with looking after Alexandra Daddario, he sort of had a fling with her. He fell in love with her. She doesn't like him. He talked to her father about asking for her hand in marriage. Her father said he'd approve, yada, 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 if he got rid of Diego Boneta. But then everything goes to hell, and the psycho finds out that they're getting married at the church. There's this big fight / shootout where Diego's hit. Romeo goes down, and, Romeo and Juliet ends in a dual suicide. So you figure this movie isn't going to end well, but then he's okay, and the movie points out how sometimes in life things surprise you for the better, and it worked out for them, and they were able to go on together. The movie ends with them driving down a road somewhere, and they're completely happy. Nobody's happy in reality, though. We're all miserable and fucking lonely. We don't know anybody. And so that's not how life works out. Yeah, you want to know how life works out? Life works out to the point where you lose everything, you struggle to get it all back. You make a lot of changes financially, so at least you can't argue about that. But it's ironic, when 1 minute my life is going... Did I say my life? I meant somebody's life, not my life. My life is fucking perfect. My life has ended like their life did. I am totally happy. But you ever notice that sometimes you have one thing going really well, but you can't get the other thing going? And then when you have the other thing going, the other thing ain't working? I don't understand why you can't have both halves at once. I don't see why that is such a difficult task for people to pull off. Because I do have to say that after the guy that you love is shot in the chest at your wedding, he usually doesn't live. So although I liked the way this movie ended, I'm just feeling kind of bitter about my own life at this point. So God, why can't that work out for me? I would love to get fucking shot in the chest and live and have a chick that looked like Alexandra Daddario. It's probably too much to hope for, especially the getting shot in the chest part. But look, I'm going to go. I've rambled near the end there pointlessly, so I apologize for that. But thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little over 5.5 minutes while I discussed Die in a Gunfight starring Alexandra Daddario. If you liked this review or discussion or whatever this was, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. I am going to go because that sky behind me keeps getting darker and darker. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.